All right, action.
Hello, I'm Gracie. I'm going to show you a handstand. It's a handstand practice. Here it is. Ow! You're done. Thanks for watching it. Bye. No, that's
No, you're stinky.
I want to show you how fast I can play piano.
Say hi.
It's great to hear Spencer Weather return.
What?
This is the red dot right there, okay? Easy. And then
One of these days, I won't get all teary-eyed. Or maybe not. No, it's fine. I'm good with getting teary-eyed. It's fine. Oh my God. Oh, that is good stuff. Wow. That one got me. The one with the one, Grace, where you're practicing your handstand. I remember that like it was yesterday, like the cliche. That's why I got the camera out. Is you kept doing the handstand and bam, just and it was so classic. You kept the performance going. It was good. You wham, hit, ow, got up. Thanks for watching. Oh God! All right, I'm gonna be teary-eyed for a while. I can feel it. Oh, it's good stuff. Hey, girls. What's the date down there? Move. What is the date? March 7th, 2026. I was on vacation. So I told you, I had to go to the simulator and do my simulator training to requalify like we do every 6 months or whatever it is. And then from there, I'm like, I'm hopping on a plane. Screw this. Let's go. I kind of didn't want to at first because I don't like spending money. I really dislike spending money unless it's on something that's kind of like an investment. Like I will fix up the house and spend money on that perfectly fine. But going on vacation and spending money on a hotel, I didn't actually spend any money on a hotel. Well, a little bit. We get to keep our points. We get free hotels with the job I'm at. So used up a lot of my points, which don't like using those up either. So anyway, yeah. But went to 4 different places. Super secret. Super secret. Because, like, so what it is there are people out there who just genuinely don't like me. Okay, fine. They don't like me. Oh, no, they don't like me. We're going to get into that here in a minute, by the way. Is my hair all messed up? Oh, God. I just got a haircut, and I have to dye my hair. See, it's all patchy and stuff. That patch. Side story. One of the reasons, like, I think about it all the time when I see my gray hair. We were about to get married. Mom and I were about to get married. And I hadn't really thought about this gray spot or I didn't have very many gray hairs back then, but I had this big gray spot that had come in. And all I ever wanted to do was make Mom happy. Like, that was number one on the list of my desires. And she just made a simple comment. I'm like, okay, how do you want my, I said, how do you want my hair for the wedding? You know, what do you want it to look like? And she's like, oh, go get a haircut. But if you could color in that spot, maybe, you know, she was being nice. And I was like, oh, it like scarred me a little bit, but not in a bad way. She wanted me to dye my hair. I have no problem with that. Perfectly fine. You should be able to say to your partner, like, hey, I would like it if you did this. But you don't love me the way that I am. Oh, God. Don't get me started on that shit. Anyway, you should be able to say to your partner, hey, I would enjoy it if you wore this or did your hair like this. That's an acceptable thing. What scarred me was that I had let it go and I hadn't thought about mom. I had, was getting that gray patch. What upsets me is me. That I hadn't thought to say, hey, is this okay? Like, is this a problem? Would you like me to color this? That's what bothers me. I'm like, why didn't I ask her? She had to say it to me, which bothers me. My goal was always to make it so she didn't have to ask for anything. That was the goal. Anyway, so back to the vacation. I went to 4 different places. Just kind of bounced around, used my free flights and whatnot. And even then, I didn't spend that much money. But I know, getting back to this, there are people who just genuinely don't like me and will use anything I do against me. And I'm tired of that, so I just don't share things. I don't share things with anybody because I'm afraid that those people are going to get that information and then use it against me, and I'm going to have to, the battle starts again. Your Honor, he's been going on vacation. I'm filing a motion. That shit. That's what I'm talking about. Not to mention, like, your Uncle Shane. When I found out that he had completely betrayed me and was, like, giving information to Mom to use against me, that was, like, really freaking tough. I was like, I can't share information. Okay. So I just started doing my solitary thing, and in reality, it's kind of it was not reality, not kind of, it was a blessing in disguise, because I had been doing the thing of I need other people. No, other people are a like perk. It's a perk in life, and we're gonna get into that right now, because so what happened on the way home? I hop on the flight. It's a long flight. And there's a lady sitting next to me who she's a little nervous about flying. Me, I see her nervous, so I have to like say, hey, you okay? And when I say a little nervous, like she was nervous. You can see her like doing the whole thing. She was like freaking out. And I said, hey, I don't like being back here too. I'm actually a pilot, and I don't even like sitting in the back, which I don't. I don't like sitting in the back. I like to be, my preference is to be in control, because I know what kind of pilot's out there, and that's what we're getting to. So she had read the news recently, and right now there's a bunch of talk in the aviation world right now about a certain crash that just happened. I'll tell you about it here in a second. Well, let's go right into it. What happened a while back was there was an influencer in Tennessee. Let's see if I can pull her up. So, right there. TN Flight Girl. December 7th, 2023. So, oh no, that's just a flight she did. But about a year ago, she ended up crashing. And there's a lot of discussion about it now, because what she would do is she had her YouTube channel, and she would always mount a GoPro and hook up the audio, and she would record every single flight. She was looking for the likes. And I say that definitively because when she got critiques about stuff, because she was doing stuff that was not cool. Now it wasn't intentional; it was negligence. She just didn't want to realize that she was doing things that were dangerous. And she would actually like label people as mean and stuff like that when they would say, hey, what you did there, no, you can't do that. So if she had actually been posting the videos for like to grow as a pilot, to get better as a pilot, that would have been one thing. But she was very unreceptive to criticism. Oh my God, they were criticizing her. Yeah. That's one of the things you have to live with as a human being if you want to grow. Criticism is a healthy thing. Now, if it can't be negative criticism where you just come to a conclusion about somebody. So, for example, if she were to make a dangerous approach, which she did a couple times, and somebody says to her, hey, what you did there, see, you were slow and you were low, and what you want to do is you want to give the engine a little bit more juice, that's perfectly acceptable. You're criticizing the actions, what the person is doing. Now, if the person takes that too far and says, well, you're a shitty pilot because you did this, that's not cool. That's not constructive in any way. But you are absolutely allowed to judge actions. You can judge actions. You don't want to judge a person.
Story of Jonah. I'll give you a 1-minute summary of the story of Jonah. So Jonah's just minding his own business. God comes along, says, you know that city Nineveh? Well, those people have deviated from the straight and narrow, and I'm not very happy, and I'm going to wipe them out. But I'd like you to go there and tell them what they're doing wrong. And Jonah thinks, there's no bloody way I'm going to a city of 120,000 people to tell them that they're wrong. No. So he hops on a boat and goes the hell the other direction. Well, then the waves rise and the winds blow and the ship is threatened. Well, the sailors think, well, there's someone on board who's on outs with God because that's why the storms are rising. And Jonah says, well, as a matter of fact, yeah, I've disobeyed a direct order. And the sailors say, well, we got to throw you overboard because like otherwise we're all going to die. So off they throw him. Right now he's drowning. And you think, well, that's pretty bad. He's drowning. And then that's not so bad because the next thing that happens is a horrible creature from the darkest part of the abyss comes up and swallows him and takes him down to the bottom. What that means is that if you hold your tongue when you're called upon to speak, the ship sinks, you drown, and then you wish you would have drowned.
What you did was not cool, acceptable. You suck as a pilot, not cool. Does that make sense? Okay, so now that we've gotten that out of the way, there were a lot of pilots who were watching her channel, and there were a lot of non-pilots watching her channel, and they were doing the thing. They were doing the, you're so amazing, oh my God, girl power, empower women, all that shit, right? And it is garbage, because it ended up killing her. She was so consumed with hearing, I want positivity. Okay, well, that's great. If you just focus on the positive things and just try to ignore the negative things, what you label as negative, you're going to end up killing you and your dad. And that's what happened. So everybody's in the aviation world is talking about this, and a recent an article just came out. Now, I'm going to preface this. This video is going to seem, on the surface, if you look at it with those goggles, oh my God, he's just focusing on the negative. If you look at it with that closed-minded mindset, you're going to say, oh my God, he's beating up on women. No. I'm going to make this perfectly clear right now. Women rock. I've said it before, and I'll say it again, and it's true. My favorite people on the planet, like most of them, are females. Most. Whether it be pilots or fitness influencers or comedians or science people, whatever. My favorite people, I enjoy interacting and listening to women, receptive women, more than I enjoy talking to males. The problem occurs when people don't allow women to grow as human beings. And when you just constantly tell people, oh my God, you're amazing. Oh my God, no, you just love to enjoy every moment, girl. That's horseshit. You can do that. That can come. That's the happiness. That's what I keep talking about. Those things come when you go through the pain and suffering of listening to the criticism and growing as a human being. There are a lot of people who just don't want to do that with women because women become a little bit aggressive now because they've been told that any sort of negativity is not conducive or not acceptable. A lot of people just won't engage with women now, and they will just go, oh, well, that wasn't your fault. You didn't do anything wrong. Okay. Once again, women, I can't say enough about them, to include Mom. You guys are still my 3 favorite people on the planet. And then the list goes on. Now, with that out of the way, an article just came out. People are up in arms about this because it's critical of women. Despite Trump, oh my God, not Trump, Trump, oh my God, yeah. Despite Trump's efforts, airline DEI programs are still risking people's lives, and that is true. And if you don't want to accept that, then that's purely because you've got those lenses on. You can't say anything negative about women. Okay. Then women aren't going to grow. It's pretty simple. If little Sally is sitting in a classroom and the teacher asks her, what's 2 plus 2? And she says 5. And the teacher goes, that's right, Sally. That's amazing. You did so good. And that carries on throughout her life. Sally's not going to have grown from the 3rd grade, and she's going to become really hostile towards people who actually want to help her grow as a person. The article talks about all this stuff. Okay. Women and minorities represent less than 10% of pilots, yet were factors in 4 out of 8 crashes since 2000. That number is actually higher. It's actually 6 out of 8 crashes. He left out 2 very important ones. 6 out of 10, excuse me. So it's not 50%, it's 60%. Less than 10%. It's 9% of commercial pilots are females. And they have been involved in 60% of the crashes since 2000. And he even says, it's not that women and minorities are inherently unable to fly planes. They can. But in practice, pressure for affirmative action too often leads to airlines lowering the standards. That's what's going on. I don't like when people lower the standards for women because you are inherently saying that women can't do it. And they can, so long as they are held to the same standards as men. United's training program still maintains, if I can get that right, maintains its goal of ensuring 50% of graduates are women or minorities.
Airlines last month, the CEO, he announced of all the hiring for all the new pilots that are coming up this year, all the hiring for the new pilots, the main focus is going to be diversity. What? Diversity? Not the best pilots you can find? The ones with the most hours of experience? Ones you've done it before? Nope, diversity. I don't know about you, but I'm sick and tired of flying all the time with these white pilots landing safely and on time. Boring.
So 17% of all pilots, because not all pilots are commercial pilots. There's just people who go out and just fly around for fun. There are people who there's all kinds of different pilots. 17% of the total population of the pilots in the United States, there's something like 50,000 pilots, something like that. 17% of those are females. As far as commercial pilots, there's like 20,000, 19,000-ish commercial pilots, people that fly for the airlines commercially. 9% of that group are women. And United wants to make it so that 50% of their pilots are women or minorities. So what do you have to do to make it so this little tiny segment now grows? You have to lower the standards. Have to. It's inevitable. There's no way around that, and if you can't accept that, then if people lower standards for you, if people won't tell you, no, you need to do better, you can do better. If they don't say to you, you can do better, you can't associate with those people. They will keep you down. Or you become one of the 50% of the graduates, and then you start crashing airplanes. Because the last major crash, the last one that occurred, was an accident in Washington, D.C., where this female pilot, who by all accounts was on a training mission, and by the CVR, because they recorded the flight, was giving attitude to her instructor. You go read the transcript. I'm not going to bother with that. She's giving pure attitude to her instructor, who's saying, hey, you need to do this, hey, you need to do that. And she's just giving sass back. And then they smash into an airliner. Prior to that, this girl, who by all accounts, and I know a lot of people at this airline, and I heard just, stories. She had been given all kinds of chances that where a male would have been told, no, ain't gonna work, you gotta go fly somewhere else. Sorry, we're not gonna allow you to fly here. She ended up wrecking this airplane, flipping it upside down. The last one prior to that was a flight called Kogan 3407. It was a major crash. You can look that up if you want to. The primary cause of that crash, the person that caused that airplane to crash, was the co-pilot, who did something that made no sense. No sense whatsoever. So what they did is they changed all the rules. And for all these, they're changing the rules. Like, for example, in the Washington, D.C. crash, now what they want to do is, okay, well, we need more equipment to make it so planes don't smash into helicopters. Okay? And then for the Colgan flight, well, what we need is pilots with more experience. We need more hours. None of that makes any sense. And pilots will be like, what the hell are you talking about? No, we just keep the standards where they are. Back to TN Flygirl. I'm going to steal Hoover's video. Hoover, all credit to him, makes phenomenal videos. And we're going to watch what Hoover has to say, and I'm going to critique him as he goes.
Where she shared her aviation journey with the world, until one day she was flying with her dad and lost control of her aircraft and crashed, killing them both instantly. However, that's not the most disturbing part of this story. And even though I shared with you what no one was saying about this tragedy 2 years ago when it happened, now that the NTSB...
What no one was saying was that a ton of pilots were hopping onto her channel saying, this is dangerous. What the hell? Who gave that person a license? That's what no one was saying. And no one wanted to listen. You're me. You're a misogynist. You're part of the patriarchy.
Final report is out. The details are worse than what people imagined. So sit back and get ready, because this is one of the most shocking pilot mistakes that I've ever talked about. I'm Hoover, and welcome to your pilot debrief. People imagined. So sit back and get ready, because this is one of the most shocking.
I'm going to start by ruffling feathers. what's her name? So what I want you to do is, I hesitate here. I really hesitate because this is going to ruffle some feathers. Now, this is TN Fly Girl, and she's about to go flying. Now, the first thing I see is the appearance. She put a ton of effort into her appearance that morning. Making sure the hair's all did, the makeup's just right, the eyeshadow, the lipstick, the outfit was chosen very carefully. How much pre-flight planning did she do? I know the answer. The answer is 0, because she was relying on an instructor. The instructor was supposed to do all the work. That's what she wanted to do, and that's evident here in just a second. Amanda Lee is a rock star. The more I learn about her, and mark my words, she's going to be the first female Blue Angel flight leader. She was a Blue Angel back in 2021 and 2022, and she crushed it. Absolutely crushed it. What do you notice about Amanda? Yeah, she's no makeup, hair back in a ponytail. She's looking pretty ragged. She actually looks, to a man, that's hot. I see that picture and I see that as attractive. 100%. That girl is working. I love it.
I enlisted in the Navy, and my division chief said, you don't belong here. I don't feel like you're challenged enough. So I was like, let's try to fly.
The Blue Angels has selected its first female pilot.
I am in panic mode immediately.
The pilots will pull 7.5 Gs. It's critical that they stay awake during that maneuver.
The challenge is to get the newbies up to speed.
You don't completely know if you'll actually get there.
Being a newbie, I had never GLAC before.
You got this, keep squeezing. Okay, damn it.
Had me super frazzled.
The majority of folks don't make it.
Either way, she looks really ragged. And again, to a man, that's attractive. Any man, any real man will tell you. But TN Fly Girl is more concerned about other things.
Shocking pilot mistakes that I've ever talked about. I'm Hoover, and welcome to your pilot debrief.
So, he goes in to talk about Jenny, and I'm not knocking her. Jenny TN Fly Girl was made to think this way by people who didn't tell her, you can do better, Jenny. You can do better than this, Jenny.
Pilots have about 60 to 80 total flight hours when they pass their check ride, but according to the investigation, Jenny had 193.2 hours.
So when people get their initial pilot rating, it's called a private pilot certificate. That's the one that just allows you to go out with friends and fly around in nice conditions. Usually, the bare minimum is about 40. Usually around 60 to 80 hours, he's got that right. That's when people get their certificate, when an instructor is like, yep, you're solid. I'm willing to put my name behind you and say, yeah, you're good to go. Then you go and do what's called a check ride with the FAA, and it's up to the examiner to then make the final determination. Jenny had 193 hours. As an instructor, that's a massive red flag. Huge.
When she finally got her private pilot license, and 182.6 of those hours were flown with an instructor. Think about that for a minute. That's roughly 3 times as many hours as the average student. And just to break things down a little bit further, according to her Instagram, she flew her 3rd solo flight in September of 2021, which means that she probably started flight training right around the time that she bought the Piper Cherokee. Now, if that's true, she was averaging at least 17 hours of flight time a month, which is probably at least 10 flights a month. So it's not like she...
So when she took her private pilot check ride, she had 193 total hours. 182 of that was with an instructor. Another massive red flag. she's relying on instructors to do the work for her. And then taking the credit that she's a pilot, posting these videos and going, "Yay, I'm a pilot." It's tough to talk about because I don't want to talk shit about her because I know she could have been capable to do this. Had she been receptive to the criticism, had she been receptive to the, hey, that's not going to work, she could have done this just fine and she'd probably still be alive. And so would her dad. This isn't something that I'm taking pleasure in by any means. What happens is you fly with an instructor until you get a certain amount of hours. And eventually that instructor should say, yeah, you're good to go. Go take your check ride here. Here's my signature. And then you take that endorsement to an examiner. We don't know what happened there, but very often, and I've seen this, when I will not sign off on somebody, they will go to another instructor and then see if that person will endorse them for the check ride. And if that person won't do it, they'll go to another one. This happens all the time. It happens constantly. This is something that is so detrimental. They just bounce around to instructor to instructor.
And honestly, I think that's one of the problems with the industry. You see, if you have enough money to buy your own plane, you can probably afford to just change instructors as much as you want until someone finally says yes. That being said, Jenny's story is about to get a whole lot worse.
So we don't know if that's what she did. She may have. Anyway. So she had what's known as a Piper Cherokee, which is the equivalent of like a Honda Civic. It's a tame little airplane, pretty easy to fly. You can't do too much that's going to hurt you in a Piper Cherokee. However, not long after getting her private pilot certificate at 193 hours,
FAA requirement, it seems like she relied heavily on flying with instructors. So it kind of surprised everyone when instead of spending time focusing on the basics in her Piper Cherokee, in July of 2022, just 2 months after she passed her check ride, instead of spending time focusing on the basics in her Piper Cherokee, in July...
Does that look anything like Amanda Lee? Boy, that girl is done up, ready to go flying. How much pre-flight planning, and there's a lot required, has she done? Because it looks like she has spent time doing other things.
July of 2022, just 2 months after she passed her check ride, Jenny sold that aircraft and bought a...
Hair's all did. Got the outfit just right.
A 1965 Beech 35 Debonair. This was a huge step up for her. That's because the Debonair is considered a high-performance complex aircraft. It has retractable...
So, now that she has her private pilot certificate, she has gotten rid of the Cherokee. We'll hear about that in a second. And she's bought the equivalent of a Ford Mustang. This thing's got some power, and it's complicated. This thing can hurt you. A version of this airplane was once known as the Doctor Killer. It was called that because of the arrogance of some doctors, not all, thinking they know it all, they know what they're doing. They would go and buy this airplane, and then they would end up killing themselves. The Doctor Killer.
Landing gear, a fuel-injected 260 horsepower engine, and a max cruising speed of about 160 knots. So it was definitely a lot more to handle.
A lot more. But why would she buy that airplane? Well,
I also want to point out that according to multiple sources, one of the reasons why Jenny bought the Debonair was because not long after getting her private pilot certificate, she landed in the Piper Cherokee and tried to exit the runway at a high rate of speed and skidded off the taxiway into a ditch. Now the aircraft itself...
She wrecked the first airplane. She just wrecked it and went, not my fault. I'm going to get something a little bit more powerful now. the usual red flags are all there. And these are the usual red flags that other pilots see. He was talking about how she spent all of her time flying with instructors. Only 10 hours of her flight time was not with an instructor. One of those hours, few of those hours, was the one where she wrecked that airplane.
Her to fly in the weather.
This is some video of her with an instructor. And this is after she has her private pilot certificate.
And Erin was one of the instructors that flew with her for a good portion of that training. According to the investigation, Erin said that Jenny was very nice and always respectful and eager to learn, but she struggled with communication and had issues with...
So, he says that she's nice. To his face. She's being nice. I want you to remember that. I want you to remember that Erin had, she seemed really nice. Always respectful. But she struggled with radio communications as one thing.
The radios. A great example of that is in this video from her channel, where her instructor is trying to help her make a basic radio call to let the approach controller know what altitude they're climbing to.
This frustrates the shit out of me.
You want to practice that with me first? We're saying Chattanooga approach, Debonair 58901 Juliet, climbing to 6,000. And then you let go. But you can approach.
Now, this should have been done on the ground, by the way. This is ground school type, pre-flight type stuff that you cover prior to going flying. You sit in a classroom and the instructor will pretend to be the air traffic controller and the student will sit there and you will bounce back and forth. And then you go flying.
Chattanooga approach.
And they may have done that.
Say it to me first.
Chattanooga approach, Debonair 58901 Juliet. Climbing. No, it was
yeah, climbing to 6,000.
Climbing to 6,000. Juliet.
All right, practice it again.
Okay, first of all,
they are up there in the air, flying through other traffic in an airplane that they have to monitor, and they're doing basic stuff. This is wild.
Side note, the radio call should be Chattanooga approach, Debonair 58901 Juliet, 5,200, climbing 6,000. That's because you want to tell them what altitude you're at and what altitude you're going to. Regardless, Jenny kept thinking about it, and she practiced the call for another minute before she would try to make the actual call on the radio.
But you can practice it with me one more time.
Chattanooga approach, Debonair 981er.
Yeah. 58901.
58901.
What she's saying right there is the tail number of her airplane, which is it's right in front of her. It's literally right there in front of her. This 58901 Juliet, it's right there. It's not like something she has to memorize. It's just her call sign that's literally right in front of her.
Juliet, climbing to 6,000.
Yeah.
All right.
What you're doing right there is you're keying the radio and letting the air traffic controller know, hey, this is me. It's the equivalent of me saying, hey, this is JJ, I'm climbing to 6,000 feet. But instead of saying JJ, I have to say the tail number, the call sign of the airplane.
Chattanooga approach, 58901 Juliet, climbing to 6,000.
She got it. A minute later, that's just one. What I want to get at here is the instructor is doing a great job. Wonderful job. He's patient. He's letting her practice. He's not getting upset. He's doing a great job as an instructor. Now, I obviously can't see inside of her head, but by other things she's done, which I'll talk about in just 1 second, she is not interested in actually learning Right now, what's going on in her head, and we're taught this as instructors, is that when somebody is not receptive, very often what they will do is look for a scapegoat because they can't accept the responsibility that they're fucking up, pardon my language, or no. They can't accept the notion that they are not doing it perfectly, so it must be the instructor. It has to be. Because in her head, well, if any of my Instagram followers think that I'm not amazing, then I might not get likes. So it's clearly going to be his fault. She doesn't know she's doing this. She has no idea whatsoever. This is a mindset and a defense mechanism, and she's not aware of it. And if she is, well, it's even worse, but I don't think she is. With regard to the scapegoat, we're going to look at one more thing here. She posts a video of my IFR training, Instrument Flight Rules training. This is something where you're starting to get into the advanced phase of becoming a pilot. Once you get your private pilot certificate, you're free to go fly around and don't get in the clouds, and it has to be nice outside so you can see outside. If you get your IFR certificate, that allows you to go flying in really bad weather where you can't see outside, and you are just flying off of the instruments in front of you. It's not easy. Not easy at all. And when you get to this level of training, you better be receptive of what the instructor has to say.
She posted to her channel.
And the instructor's got to give it to you point blank. There can't be any bullshit.
My IFR training, was this necessary? Her text on the screen.
My IFR training, was this necessary? Was this necessary?
Are you sure that this is completely necessary?
Necessary?
Well,
IFR training,
let's see
was this necessary?
what Jenny was
Her
doing.
text on the screen at the start of the video says that.
Let me be clear. I like to my CFII. I like to my CFII. Okay. This video is just opening up a discussion about the landing. Is it though? Or do you want people just to side with you? Anybody who's honest knows the answer to that question.
That it's about the landing, but I'd argue that she missed the bigger picture.
She did.
Watch what happens.
Lined up, so just keep those triangles focused big.
So she's flying this airplane. The instructor's trying to show her, and he has to reach over because she has what are called foggles on. These are things that limit your view to about like that. And all you can see are the instruments right in front of you. So he has no choice. He's not being rude. He's doing his best to reach over and point out what she needs to look at. Now, she's flying this airplane. Right there is the runway. And she's practicing not looking outside and flying this airplane to that runway to a point where she's low enough and close enough to where she can actually land from that point. Very often, students will end up in a position where they can't. They will get to the close to the runway, down low to the ground, and they're in a bad spot. They're either off to the side, or they're too high, or they're too low. And it's up to the instructor to show them, hey, this is a bad situation, and I'm going to let you learn from this. I'm going to let you learn from what just occurred. So I've done this, where you get students get themselves into a bad spot, and you say, okay, there's the runway, take off the foggles. You pull off the foggles, you look outside, and you go, oh, shit, that doesn't look good. And so then what the student wants to do, because they don't want to admit they've screwed up, is they start doing things with the airplane like, wham, well, we'll get it over here, and you're all over the place. And then one of two things has to happen. You are now unstabilized. That is what's called an unstabilized approach. One of two things has to happen. Well, one thing has to happen. One of two people are going to do it. Either the student knows, this looks pretty bad. What I should do is go around. I shouldn't try to force this situation. I'm going to get out of here, climb away, try it again. Or if the student won't do that, the instructor goes, my controls. Nope. Get away. takes the airplane, goes around. There's one solution here. It's just a matter of showing the student how bad it can get. But it's up to the instructor to say, you got us in a bad spot here. You have to accept the fact as the student that you got us in a bad spot here.
On that, okay. A lot of your eyes need. I want your eyes to keep those triangles lined up.
Don't you get down to 1500?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so right now the airplane is pointed over here. The runway is right there. She is drifting to the right. She needs to make a correction to the left.
Those eyes over there.
She's still
do that.
So she got the
Back to
foggles
left.
on.
Turn back to the left. Big turn.
He's telling her, turn back to the left, turn back to the left, big turn.
Yeah, power down to 15 if you can. Bring that quicker. There you go.
Okay, first of all, you'll notice that she's wearing a pair of instrument training glasses that limit your vision to just the instrument panel. That way you can simulate flying in the weather. And it seems like what she's trying to do is fly an instrument approach, and the instructor is trying to get her to correct back to the left because you can see that they're lined up to the right of the runway. But watch what happens next.
Let that nose kind of relax.
All right, so now she's made a correction at his direction, back to the left. And she's correcting pretty well.
Down. Gotta get her a little high. Back to the left a little bit more.
I was fighting heavy left crosswinds. It's not her fault. She was fighting heavy left crosswinds. I mean, what kind of a pilot could possibly correct for heavy left crosswinds? Not possible, right? Or is somebody already making excuses? Now, right there, she has the airplane in a right turn. That has nothing to do with the wind. She has now turned the airplane to the right and has taken out that correction.
That's showing only.
She's turning
like 40
right.
degrees
She's
off
turning
the left
right.
now. Keep that left wing down.
He's telling her,
Open it.
keep that left wing down.
Set up to us, and it really takes this.
There,
Back to left.
she's turning right again. There she goes. The left wing is up. She's turning to the right again. She is.
Left wing down.
That wind keeps pushing me.
That wind keeps pushing me. Once again, not me. It's the wind. It's not me. Come on.
Higher altitude. Pull up. Get
There she goes to the right again. And now she's back way to the right.
Up to the left. Up to the left.
And they still have a good amount of distance to that runway. She puts up these red circles right here. That circle is supposed to be over the runway. And then she circles the instructor's flight controls, showing, hey, this guy's not helping me. Can you believe the nerve of this son of a bitch? This freaking guy is not helping me.
The red circles on the video are ones that Jenny added herself, and I think she's trying to point out how they aren't lined up at the runway and perhaps how the instructor isn't taking the controls and correcting for her. But in my opinion, the whole point of the lesson is to allow you to make mistakes up to a certain point, because that's the only way you're going to learn. Watch what the instructor does, though.
So this is what she's talking about was this necessary? Was this necessary? He screwed everything up. The crosswinds were crazy. And the instructor is not fixing this. I mean, I did my hair and my makeup. What's going on here?
Yeah, pull back. All right, my controls.
My controls. So they are now in a position where this is not salvageable. This is not salvageable. Kinda. You could if you really wanted to. But from a training standpoint, he now has to take control, and he does. At the exact right moment. That's exactly when I would have taken over. But he does something that the whole point of this video is right here.
Let's go visual.
Okay, so she's now taken off the glasses. She sees how badly she is screwed up. Not her, though. The crosswind and the instructor. That's the problem.
I got it.
All right, your controls now.
She says, I got it. He doesn't give her back control. She says, I got it. He lets her have it. The airplane.
Sorry, the wind just took us at the last second there.
The wind just took us at the last second there. The wind just took us at the last second. Hey, Jenny, this wasn't you. What he's trying to do, he's a good instructor, I can tell. He is a good instructor. He can tell she is pissed off. She is angry as hell. I can see it in her eyes. And he's trying to diffuse the situation by saying, hey, this wasn't your fault. The wind just took us at the last second. No, it did not. No, it didn't. And this is the entire point of the last 49 minutes. Men will eventually just go, I'm not engaging with this shit. I'm not going to do this. I don't want the headache of this woman going and making a video or yelling at me or saying that I did something to a higher power. I'm out. So this, and my guess is he's about to get to a point where he's going to be like, hey, Jenny, I can't be your instructor anymore. I can't do this with you anymore. It's not going to work. And you know what it is, Jenny? It's not you. I'm just super busy. I'm just very, very busy and I can't do it. The reality is he doesn't want the headache that's associated with somebody like this. So he bails. And then Jenny's going to probably go find another instructor and go through the same process.
To be perfectly clear, the wind did not take them at the last second. Jenny?
The wind did not take them.
He wasn't applying the correct control inputs to stay aligned with the runway during the approach, and I think the instructor was just trying to be nice.
We're going to leave it at that. There's one more thing I'm going to bring up here in just a second, though. That's it. This is not just in aviation. Yes, this is killing people because whether it be Toronto or Washington, D.C. or Colgan or whatever it is, people now just want to be nice. And being nice is code for I don't want to engage with the freaking headache that this woman is going to give me. So I'm just going to say, hey, to hell with it. Somebody else can go deal with this. And then people die. There's no way around this. And if you just want to keep saying, no, the airlines aren't lowering standards. Yes, they are. I can personally tell you, having worked at an airline, getting a phone call from my boss saying, is there any way that you can possibly re-examine the grade you gave that woman? No, they're lowering standards 100%. And people are suffering because of it. Now you might think, well, Jenny was trying. Jenny, this is really, she could have done this. And she could have, had the root cause been addressed. Had the root cause been addressed. And it's not a flying cause. This is an issue going on with Jenny at a core level. The NTSB...
However, I think he should have said, okay, Jenny, you're at minimums and you don't see the runway. What do you do?
Yeah. He should have prompted her to go around. Like I said, get out of there. Take off the foggles. Look, oh no, this isn't going to work. But she says, which is never supposed to happen, she says, I got it. That's not supposed to happen. The instructor gives controls to the student when they feel it's necessary. But she said, I got it. And again, he's not going to argue with her. It's like, whatever. Now, he's not going to let them crash. I'm certain of it. But he's also not going to say, well, hey, Jenny, no. I'm not going to give you back control of this airplane. I'm going to go ahead and land this thing. We're done for the day. He's not going to say that. Because he wants to be nice. Because empower women. Because girl power. she ended up going on a flight with her dad. They got all kinds of screwed up, and they both died.
All of the instructors that flew with her had difficulty with her.
All of the instructors, they ended up interviewing all of the instructors.
In relation to her navigation, and she was flying a
So they interviewed these instructors. She rarely knew where she was going in relation to her navigation. It was a complex high-performance airplane with technical avionics package with which she was not truly familiar. And she wasn't. She had no idea what she was doing. She had no idea what she was doing. And it was blatantly obvious to everybody. It was blatantly obvious to everybody, and nobody said anything.
Complex high-performance airplane.
So the NTSB did their investigation. Part of the investigation includes an autopsy.
Plane with an avionics package she wasn't familiar with. Additionally, all of the instructors that flew with her had difficulty with her. I think one of the reasons why Jenny struggled so much is because of what the NTSB discovered after the crash. According to the autopsy report, this is a list of the medications found in Jenny's system when she died.
Now, these were not all the ones that she had been taking. These were the ones that she did take prior to this flight. Just these. This is what was in her system.
If you're not familiar, Xanax is often used to treat anxiety and panic disorders, and it can cause increased sedation, reduced concentration, and reduced inhibitions. Trazodone is used to treat major depression, anxiety, and panic disorders, and it may slow your thinking and impair your motor skills. And buspirone is used for anxiety and may cause
All of these are for anxiety. She's on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 medications at the time of her crash for anxiety. None of which were reported. You can't report these to the FAA. You can't take these, more specifically. You can't take these and fly. But if the FAA finds out you're on these, you're not flying. They'll yank your medical. 8 medications for anxiety. So, the core issue with Jenny was that she did not feel like she was enough. I'm going to be 100% blunt here. Jenny did not feel as though she was enough as a human being, and I'll tell you right now, she was. 100%, she was fine as a human being. But somewhere along the line, a pattern started where she thought that her appearance was who she was as a person. Had to do the hair, had to do the outfits, get the right glasses, had to do the Instagram thing, get the likes, let everybody know, hey everybody, see, I am worthy of everybody's love. She didn't need that crap. This goes right back to what the last 10 podcasts have been about. She was fine as a human being. I have no doubt about it. But this nonsense, right back to Sally in the classroom being asked, what's 2 plus 2? Well, it's 5. Oh, well, there you go, Sally. Nice job. We're not going to tell you that you're wrong. Then Sally goes out into the world and realizes everybody's treating me like I'm retarded. Why is everybody treating me like I'm retarded? Well, because nobody wants to correct you. Nobody wants to spend their energy on you and telling you, hey, you're not doing this right. How dare you tell me I'm not doing this right? Don't tell me I'm wrong. Okay. Hey, you know what? I got other things to do. So, hey, you take care. Bye. And that's what happened to Jenny. Over and over and over and over until she developed a complex thinking that she wasn't good enough. She was. It breaks my heart. It absolutely breaks my heart, and I get emotional about this. Not because females are pilots or can't be pilots. Mace Curran is probably one of my favorite people on the planet, and now I listen to her not inspirational, motivational speeches all the time. Mace, just like Mace might fall number 4 on my list of favorite people on the planet. That girl is just phenomenal. And if you listen, and I highly encourage you girls, I highly encourage you to listen. She has a bunch of like TED Talks and motivational speeches, and I can't tell you how amazing she really is. I aspire to be like Mace. Mace is her call sign. Her name is Michelle Curran. Anyway, you hear very often about how she was told no and uncool, and that's not going to work very often, and she was receptive to it. So if you're not getting told no on a regular basis, you're not cutting. I do get told no. People tell me no all the time. Okay, well, if you're keeping track of the number of times people tell you no, you've already lost the entire big picture. When somebody tells you, no, that's not going to work, you take that as, okay, here's an opportunity to get better. If your knee-jerk reaction is, I feel attacked, I'm out. Bye. I'm not expending my energy on that. And neither is most of the men out there. They'll just, hey, I got things to do. I'm gonna go do something else. I'm gonna go on vacation. You going on vacation alone? Yep. I'm going on vacation alone. See ya. Take care. Because that's peaceful. We don't deal with that crap. So, by the way, FYI, I haven't spoken to Mom in 5 years, but when I met Mom, 100% receptive to criticism, and she blossomed because of it. Mom is the strong person she is because she was one of those women willing to go, okay, if that's not, I will do better. Gotcha, I'm going to do better. So, anyway, going to reiterate, because I know what will come of this. There will be some women out there who might end up seeing this. He's hating on women. He's a misogynist. Nope. Those kinds of women are just weak people. Just weak in general. I am saying one more time, girls, you are capable. 100%. I've seen it. I've watched it. It motivates me to be a better person. I see the drive in you, and I know what you're capable of. When somebody tells you, hey, Amy, you can do better. Grace, that's not going to work. You're going to have to do this. When you hear that, go, this person loves me. This person has expended the energy, their life. And remember what love is. Love is us being willing to give our energy to other people. And when people just go, you know what? That crosswind took us at the last minute. That's what it was. The crosswind took us at the last minute. It wasn't your fault, Jenny. Not your fault. That's somebody going, I'm not expending my energy on this person. Or somebody can say, hey, Jenny, that approach was not as good as it should have been. Here's what you did wrong. Oh my God, I feel like I'm being attacked. Okay, I'm out. Bye. Anyway, enough of that. The capabilities of women are phenomenal. Even from a physical standpoint. Even Kristen Nunn, another one of my favorite people. She jacked beyond belief, and I love it. Anyway, that's that. Okay. I have a lot to do, but I wanted to make a video and rant. But I wanted to let you girls know that just because somebody tells you, hey, that's not cool, That's actually a sign of love. Saying good job is actually people going, nah, I don't really care about you. I prefer just to have my own peace and not associate with you. And if people are constantly bailing on you, I do better alone. Okay, I've seen that shit. She thrives solo. Do you? Do you really? Do you? Or are you trying to do what Jenny did? Was this necessary? I'm pissed, man. Jenny had potential, and it breaks my heart that she's not with us anymore. She had potential, and people let her down. People let her down and ate medications for anxiety because she didn't feel like she's enough. I wish I could have been there for Jenny. I really do. I really do. I wish I could have been there for Jenny and all the women that suffer from this stuff. But I can't be. That was what my little short video was about. Dealing with a few people who just will not see reality. They are in that bubble of anybody who tells me I'm not doing perfectly is a mean person. And they are attacking me. And so I was over there on my vacation going, God, what do I do about this? And literally, God inspired me, hey, this is their path. This is their path. Let them walk their path. You make yourself available. And this was just for that particular problem that I was having. For whatever problem you have, you will be inspired to do the right thing. But use the common sense test too. So anyway, okay, enough about that. It's an emotional one, girls. It's a really emotional one, as you can tell, because this shouldn't happen. And I'm just gonna say it. The thing that's been in the back of my head that I didn't want to say this entire time is the behavior of mom's side of the family, and not speaking up and not saying, hey, no, taking the girls from their dad is not acceptable. That is not acceptable. I 100% know and can guess that the vast majority of them behind closed doors are going, oh my God, what the hell is she doing? Like, whatever, I don't want to engage with that. And these kinds of problems materialize. So that's why I'm emotional. All right, I gotta go fix this. I might run into mom. I gotta look good. Kidding. It's a joke. It's a joke. Or is it? All right, now I just... Anyway. All right, I love you, girls. I love you with all my heart, and you are 100% capable, no matter where you are in life. No matter where you are in life, you're capable of doing even better. And aspire to that. Remember that pyramid? The human needs? Go for that self-actualization. God has an amazing plan for you. It doesn't include revenge. It doesn't include hanging out with friends and going to parties. It doesn't include posting to Facebook. I'm guilty of that, but I do it. I try to make people laugh with my Facebook posts. And very often I will ridicule myself. But you're absolutely capable of even more. You're capable of so much more than you can possibly imagine. As long as you surround yourself with the people who are willing to inspire that. Make sense? That's what love is. Love is seeing, well, I'm here.
Like if you love someone, if it's genuine love, you see their hidden soul. That's a good way of thinking about it. You get a glimpse of the light that they could reveal to the world if they revealed it. That's what you see. And then to act in love is to encourage that to come forward and to discourage anything that gets in its way.
That clip. He says it better than me. So I love you, girls. And I know what you're capable of, and it inspires me. Go out, love one another, like I always say, just like I love you.